And we're back with more exciting adventures of the Incredible Hoax. I am Chris.
I am Mark.
And we are back. We've been on delay because of COVID, holidays with COVID, and all things general relating to COVID.
Yeah.
But now we're not worried about COVID as much, although we are worried about it. But I guess we're all over having it and stuff. Or out of quarantines. You never had it, though, did you?
No, I never had it. No,
we were just concerned about it.
All the world was going around. You know, it was falling apart around me, but I got through it. Yeah.
And then with Trish's zero risk condition, even though you didn't have it.
We absolutely had to be safe.
So anyway, COVID related absence or timeout or whatever the hell you call it, we just did.
Yeah.
So the Super Bowl just happened. We're recording this on a Tuesday, and it just happened Sunday.
Okay.
Thoughts on the completion of the 2020 season?
Okay.
What are your thoughts? And we'll do Tennessee, Dallas as always, but if you want to have general NFL comments or Super Bowl comments, feel free to.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with the Super Bowl thoughts. I actually thought that the Bucs, I picked them to win because of what they did to the Green Bay Packers 2 weeks before in the NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the Packers, I had originally thought they were going to win.
Yeah. And
I was just so impressed that the Bucs, here they were trying to give that game away. 3 turnovers back to back to back, trying to give that game away. And that Bucs defense held. And this is Aaron Rodgers we're talking about. So anyways, that impressed me so much that I picked them to actually be able to do it again in the Super Bowl. But I didn't think anything like a 31-9. I mean, that was a dominating performance by the Bucs. And Brady was his efficient self. And but the Chiefs, still a young team. Mahomes has got a bright future. I could totally see him getting to at least one more Super Bowl. He's got I think that team has the talent, and he's certainly talented enough. So I wouldn't have picked the Bucs the Chiefs I thought would have a chance to repeat, but I wouldn't have picked the Bucs to make the Super Bowl early in the season. So there was a lot of teams that kind of dropped off.
7-5 at one point.
So
they were 7-5 at one point. They won like 8 straight to win the Super Bowl, something like that. So it was 7-5. Then that would have been 4, and then 4 playoff games. So they went like 8 in a row, right? Because they didn't have a bye week. Green Bay did. So 3, 4. Yeah, if they won 8 in a row to win the Super Bowl, they won an 8-0 run.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I thought the Packers would be the NFC representative, so I was close on that, but no, they didn't pull it off. So close, though. But yeah, it was just a weird season with all the COVID and people going in and out and everything. So just kind of weird how the NFL was like willing to go without crowds, without fans in stadiums, and just keep the product going and to get the season through. That in of itself was kind of an Olympic, Olympian effort.
Herculean.
There you go.
Herculean. I knew you were looking for that word.
That's where I was going with that. Thank you.
Effort.
Thank you for the assist.
So
yeah.
First off, again, like you did the Super Bowl, I thought I didn't really write down on paper or do a bid or a bet or anything, but I just figured in my head that Chiefs were going to win. I honestly thought it was going to be some high-scoring affair, like 42-38 or something like that. Some high-scoring deal, 49-42 or whatever. I thought it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
I didn't expect the defense to come carrying the. Man, they came there big time. So yay, Tampa, whatever. But man. So my business partner is a giant Brady / Patriots fan, and I don't want to get too carried away for that reason, but it's just enough with the Brady thing, man. And I know the answer is, well, somebody's got to step up and beat him. I get that. I agree with that. I understand that. But it's like enough already with this. Because, And I don't know what you can do about it. He's going to have to retire to stop, but it's like not fun anymore. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not the only one thinking this. It's like It's hurting the product. And I've said this for a while now. There isn't this parity that the NFL has is totally a myth. It's not really real. There's not real parity in the NFL.
No.
You have the same basic third of the NFL always kind of in contention, always top third. Buffalo and Cleveland finally kind of broke in this last offs or playoffs or whatever, and they kind of broke the mold.
But it took them 20 years to do it.
Yeah, it took them forever to do it. Then you have Brady, like you've been to 10 Super Bowls now, won 7, right? That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
So it's really diminishing the product. I mean, I'm not going to stop watching football. And there's been seasons where I just can't stand it anymore. I swear I'm not going to watch the next year, and I end up watching next year. I'm not making that promise I'll stop watching it or everything, but it's the product sucks. And it's in large part due to this. Like, there's no point. Like, it's really hurting the product. And there's nothing you can do about it. Somebody's got to step up, man up, and beat him. I get it. I was happy Mahomes won last year. I thought Mahomes would be the next guy. Like, Jesus Christ, at least that's somebody new.
Yeah, a new generation.
But no, even that's not even going to work out. So it's just like Brady. I mean, it's very frustrating. And I know the answer is he has to just be beat. You got to beat him on the field. But it's very frustrating because nobody can do it. 31 other teams can't do it. Wherever he at is, it's kind of like basketball. I mean, if you weren't an MJ fan, basketball sucked for about 10 years.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that. Well, for 20 years, your football sucks. Yay, football. It's just one guy. It's like the kid that keeps hogging the video game and won't let you play, or keeps hogging the ball and won't let you play. It's like, okay, I guess I'll just enjoy the game in the moment, but not have any aspirations for a Super Bowl or championship. I'll just enjoy the 3 hours of the game and just call it good. So it's just the product sucks. The product sucks now. The product sucks.
I have to tell you that yesterday I was thinking about this show and topics we might do. One of the topics I thought of was how the salary cap is just bogus.
Yeah.
The salary cap was designed to be a dynasty killer, to prevent what has happened with New England Patriots and Tom Brady. It's supposed to stop that. It's supposed to okay, you can be really good for 2, maybe 3 years, but then the salary cap errors
catches
up with you, and you got to let somebody else win for a while.
Right.
Have we seen that? We have not. And so I think there's a lot of fans out there feel like your frustration. I do to an extent as well, because I just kind of see that the salary cap error was designed for a specific purpose, and it's not functioning anymore. I don't know. I would like to see someone from the NFL powers that be acknowledge that this is really ridiculous and have a fresh think what we could do to make this thing more competitive. Because I think there's 5 franchises that have figured out wherever the code is, and everyone else is just kind of screwed. But I get tired of it. The Ravens are always in it. The Steelers are always in it. The Patriots are always in it. You just get tired of that. You're like, can somebody else have a chance for a while?
Yeah. Like I said, you have basically a top third that always rotates. And one will fall off, and somebody else will sneak in. Mm-hmm. But in general, you have this top third that just sort of just keeps moving around. And it's not fun. It's not a good product. I mean, honestly, I've considered strongly, is there another sport I could invest my energy into? Do I go to college football and start just pick a college I didn't go to and invest my energy into that? Because at least you get a bowl game. You feel like you've accomplished something for the year. Yay, we won a bowl. Yay, good. Yay. I mean, even if you don't get the championship playoff, whatever it's called now, even though you don't win a championship of the whole thing, you still feel like you accomplished something with a bowl.
Right.
So maybe you switch. I don't know. It just sucks. It sucks. It's a shitty product.
It needs to get back to where when the season begins, any season going forward, it needs to be where all 32 teams and all the fans of those teams, it's 0-0, and we all think we have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And it should be a fairly legitimate for most teams. Like, well, it's open wide. Anything can happen, but that's not how it is.
Mm-hmm.
We know going in, there's certain teams that are always going to be there year in and year out. And it's certainly over the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow Green Bay will find a way to be in the hunt, you know. The Colts they sucked for like one season finally, and then immediately, and then Andrew Luck, of course, the number one pick fell in their lap.
Yeah,
that was just so sickening.
Straight from Manning to Andrew Luck.
Yeah, what is that about?
Yeah.
So anyway, the Colts don't need any help. NFL, they're fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, much of that despise the Bills. It was nice to see, maybe, wow, good. At least another AFC East team besides the Patriots now, which could be good for a little while, you know? And so do you make the declaration that it was Brady all along, not Belichick? Do you make that declaration?
I still think Belichick is the greatest coach. I just think it was a great partnership, you know.
I'm starting to think it was all Brady. Like all Brady. Like, let's just say like 70% Brady. I'm starting to think it was 70% Brady. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it on this show on camera. It was 70% Brady. Belichick isn't what we thought he was. There, I've said it. I mean,
well, you may be right.
Who has a Super Bowl without the other one?
Yeah.
Which one of them has a Super Bowl without the other one?
Well, you know,
Brady.
There is that.
They were 7-9 without Brady. Now they win the Super Bowl with Brady. What did Belichick do? He got Cam Newton and squeaked out, 5 wins?
Well, I certainly think the edge in terms of credit goes to the player. The actual guy on the field getting it done, it goes to Brady. So I agree with you on that. Percentage-wise, I'd have to put some thought into that. I would think I'd be leaning more to a 60-40 thing, like 60-40 Brady.
Oh, you would give Brady the 60?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's still more than just a 50-50 thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think, his on-field accomplishment, by the time he retires, he's going to own every record of. Well,
like even that year,
note.
Even the first Super Bowl, they started the year 1-4, and then Brady came in and they won the Super Bowl. They went on some tear and went 11-5, and then won the Super Bowl. So that alone proves it. He never got anything going, turned around in Cleveland. And then they didn't get turned around with Bledsoe. They go 1-4, starts Brady, and then boom, they on a magical run and win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And then Brady leaves. He sucks again, and Brady wins the Super Bowl somewhere else. It's Brady. It might even be 80-20. It might be 80-20 the more I think about it. I mean, that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what took place. I'm just disgusted. I'm not going to quit for football. I'm not going. I say that every year. I get pissed off, and I end up just watching it anyway. So I'm not going to bother saying it this year. But I am going to say it's. I don't know. Do we need a concentrated plan that all the other 31 teams collude and think of some strategy to beat him? Do we put a bounty on him? You go ahead and just say, F it, let's do a Greg Williams. What do you do? I don't want to see that, obviously, but.
Right. No, he's a great player. He doesn't need us to remind people that he is the greatest of all time. It's just incredible what Tom Brady has been able to accomplish. I would like to see something in the way of, do teams need to do a better job in the combine in the off season with the drafts? There needs to be a thorough review. Look at that. Are we making it too hard for teams to trade in mutually beneficial trades? Are we making it too used to when we grew up, in the 80s and 90s? Well, certainly I'll just say 90s. There was a lot of free agent signings. You hardly ever now see a lot of the really big name free agent signings.
Yeah, they don't move very often.
They don't move very often anymore. Well, why not? We mix it up. Quit letting these players just kind of sit out there. We need to see some more movement, I think.
There's probably a combination of reasons. I guess people are trying to keep their own.
Sure.
They try and keep their own, and you've had so many busts that sign. They don't do anything when they go to the other place. There's been hundreds of examples of somebody signed that big contract and they go to the other place and don't do anything. That happens time and time again. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. There isn't really. I don't know. There probably isn't an answer. You're just going to have to beat him on the field. Somebody's got to beat him on the field. I mean, he did lose 3 Super Bowls, but I mean, think about it. He's been to like half the seasons he's been in have gone to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it's unheard of. On that topic, I guess to somewhat change the subject a little bit, Deshaun Watson and what's going on with the Houston Texans. Yeah. He is very upset the way the ownership has been running that organization.
Some weird general manager.
All sources say that he is done. He wants to, even though he signed a deal, I guess 2 seasons ago.
Before this one.
Was this one? So he's under contract. However, he's like done with them. Yeah. So the question is, does he hold out? Or does Houston convince him to stay put? I got a question to you.
I misspoke. It wasn't GM. It's a weird situation with some like VP or president or whatever he is. Yeah. The preacher guy. Well, that everybody hates.
Can we just say management? I guess.
There's some preacher guy that was somehow was a clergyman and worked his way up the football operations. And he ended up being like president. Yeah, read it. Check it out. And that's the guy everybody hates. That's the one. That's the guy that the old receiver.
DeAndre Hopkins?
Well, the one before, the great receiver they had before.
Andre Johnson?
Yeah. He's the one that he publicly tweeted about him. How as long as that guy's there, you'll never be any good. You got to get rid of him. He's a cancer and all that stuff. And then, management said they were going to include Deshaun Watson on the GM search or coach search or both or whatever it was. And they went up and they did it without him. And then I think the coach they hired was some sort of like second-rate defensive guy or something. Wasn't even an offensive guy or something like that.
Well, he's like wasn't he like a QB coach or something?
Like a line coach or something
for the Ravens, but he did at one time coach with Andy Reid. So it was like, well, we're not going to wait on Eric Bieniemy with the Chiefs, so we'll go with this guy. But he's never been a head coach.
It is the
he's pulling it up now.
I gotta look it up now. He was the David Cooley.
Yes.
He was where. Stop Google. I swear when Google does these dumb things, don't give me feedback.
But there was an Andy Reid tie there, so I think they were thinking of a way to like get there without waiting on Eric Bieniemy.
He is or was. He's been like a running backs coach and a quarterback coach and a passing game coordinator. I think that's what it was. He was a passing game coordinator out of the Ravens. And they were like, passing game coordinator for the Ravens. Like, they had a crappy passing attack. Why would you hire that guy?
Yeah.
All he do is just run the ball. So anyway, Deshaun, I don't know. They're Houston. The hell with them. They're in my division, so I don't care if they're ever.
Yeah.
Now, if the question is, should he stay or should he go, or can he be talked into it?
Correct.
It's possible he could be talked into staying. But, I mean, they took possibly one of the top 5 greatest Texan players you've ever had, and he's just beginning his prime, and they trade him away and get basically nothing for it.
Right.
In Hopkins, definitely top 2 or 3 receiver in the league.
Sure. Yeah.
Ship him off for nothing. You're this stud quarterback that can play with anybody. You take his number 1 weapon off the field, expecting to do it all on his own.
Yeah.
And then do the things they've done with the front office and management and GMs and all trading away all their first round picks continually. So if I was him, I'd walk. I would hold out. I'd pull who's that receiver for the Steelers or the running back? Bell. I'd pull Le'Veon Bell. To hell with it. It was me.
Yeah, he sat out a whole year.
Yeah.
I think Pittsburgh were like, well, we're going to call his bluff. We're just letting he'll come back.
Yeah.
Nope. belt. So like, nope.
Yeah.
I'm gone.
Yeah.
I think that's what he's going to end up doing. I think I don't think it's just talk. I think he is fed up with them. So I think he'll also try to hold out. I agree.
I mean, they're not going to trade him in the division. You know, I mean, if you're like Jacksonville, you could trade that number 1 pick for Deshaun, and then Texans could go get the Clemson kid. That would probably make sense but being in the division, they're not going to do that with each other. So who knows where Deshaun would end up.
Well, this is a total fantasy situation, but in light of what happened with Matthew Stafford and that Rams-Lions trade,
that was a weird trade.
This is a total fantasy thing, but to get like equal value with like that trade, you would have to have like the Cowboys sign franchise tagged Dak Prescott and then say, okay, now we're going to call Texans. We'll give you Dak and give him the same amount of draft picks, and then we want Deshaun. There's no way though that happens, because I just don't think the Texans they're gonna let this go into the fall and have this unsettled. So there's just no way that happens.
I think they think that eventually Deshaun will play. And I think that eventually they think that he would give in to he'll come to his senses type of thing.
Well, it's almost like they're like, well, he's pouting. We'll let him kind of get. It's like he's a man. He's a grown man. I
think it'd be a mistake.
That's not going to go over well.
Yeah, I think it's a definite mistake to think he's pouting. If they're thinking that,
yeah. Well, that's my sense.
More power to them. I agree with you. I think they are thinking that. I agree with you. I think they are thinking that. So, but they're Houston, so the hell with them. I don't care what they do. They're in my division, so I hope they suck for forever. So, as far as I'm concerned, they can trade away Deshaun and draft some bust and just perennially suck for a while. That's another thing. You can't count on teams perennially sucking like you used to, can you? Like, we don't have real parity. Well, you can't count on them sucking for very long either.
I would have to say the Beagles have been pretty reliable.
They're one of the few. Jacksonville's, although Jacksonville had a 1 year wonder where they all sit out of nowhere. Like, they sucked. AFC Championship, and they sucked again. It's like, what the hell was that 1 year?
Yeah. The Beagles have turned into the team, and, well, I guess Detroit, really. The two teams that just can't get anything going. So,
there's a few.
Before we wrap up our Super Bowl thoughts episode, thought on halftime and commercials.
Oh no, this is going to be the Jeep commercial thing. Isn't it?
And no, I'm just going to say, just in general, I thought I didn't really come away hating any commercial that was out there. Nor did I find one like really like clever or like really good like the old days. So I just kind of came away. I just thought the overall quality was just adequate. But the halftime show I liked. I know it was a little weird for some people, but I'm familiar with The Weeknd and his music, and so I thought it was an ambitious show, something that was trying to like really go for it, like Katy Perry, with her ambitious show that she did, and it wasn't as good as her halftime show, but it was. But I thought it was good. Yeah, thumbs up.
I liked the halftime show. I think everybody in the room. So I had all the kids over and everything. So I had a full house. So, I mean, I wasn't dissecting every commercial and every play.
Yeah.
So we were kind of half-assed watching it while talking, while eating, then watching it and getting into it and then getting back out of it and going to the kitchen. It's like one of those types.
Yeah.
So a lot of commercials I'm sure I didn't see. But we did watch the halftime show, and I did like it. I thought it was, I like the mirror. The mirror thing was really cool.
Yeah.
The mirror thing was crazy cool.
What cracked me up about the whole mirror sequence is I thought for the 50 people that actually got to go to the Super Bowl, they're like, what's going on in there? Hey,
where'd he go?
Hey, where'd he go?
Where'd he go? Now, the commercial that's been talked about a lot is the Jeep commercial, and that's the biggest piece of crap they're trying to sell people. People that buy that, I almost feel sorry for them. That is a lie. You're being lied to. You don't even see how big a lie that is. Bruce Springsteen talking about unity. Am I the only one with a memory? Am I the only one that can remember past a year ago? Am I the only one that was alive during the Bush era when he had concerts and had fundraisers and put on multiple act concerts against W.
Right.
I mean, you can't pitch unity and have Bruce Springsteen bring me the message.
Yeah.
The only reason why it's easy for the left, liberals, whatever you want to call it, to pitch unity when your side wins. The winning side is always going to be, oh, let's unify. The other side's going to be like, F you, dude, I don't want to unify. And for them to bring out Bruce Springsteen to bring the message.
Right.
Am I the only human alive that remembers how much he was against W and the Republicans in the 2000s? Am I supposed to forget that happened?
Yeah, he was just as much vocal the last 4 years against Trump. And it's always sticky if you're Jeep and you hire someone. It's like, guys, he's a political activist.
Yeah,
and he's known for being an activist for the left.
Have
you read your script? He's probably not the best person. He's too much known for playing for one side of the team.
Right.
So your message is not going to come across, I think, the way you intend. Better to find someone who's not known for being an activist to carry your message. The only thing I could say is perhaps they were thinking, and I'm really giving them the benefit of the doubt here, is if they were thinking he was talking less about politics and more about us getting through COVID. But that would be someone giving him the most grace
that's
possible.
What he's talking about. We know,
but I'm pretty sure he meant politically. So
it probably was politically. It was completely politically.
But
it was 100,000% politically. It wasn't about race. It wasn't about COVID. Commercial was strictly aimed at politics.
I will tell you, when I first watched it, I didn't know what product it was. It's not like I know a lot of that stuff was told on the internet, but I didn't know anything about all that. So I'm watching this and I'm like, well, where is this going? And then it ended up being like, okay, now here's a product at the very end.
Well, I mean,
put
the shoe on the other foot. So say Trump had won, and then Jeep come out with a Unity commercial and Trump had won, but then Jeep had hired Kevin Sorbo to deliver the message,
right?
Or who's another?
Well, Dean Cain.
Yeah, Dean Cain. Who's like some of these devout Trump followers?
John Voight. Here's another.
John Voight, or whatever.
Yeah,
all these ones that had been outspokenly pro-Trump. Kirstie Alley. There's been several.
Yeah.
Say James Woods. James Woods is the perfect example.
Yeah. There's
James.
one.
If James Wood, if Trump had won and Jeep wanted to put a Unity commercial on, and they tried it out James Woods, the Democrats would be having an absolute fit. Like, he's the guy you picked for Unity.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You picked Bruce Springsteen
for
Unity.
Right. Yeah, I think it's fair to say, hey, whichever way you believe, that's great. That's America. Awesome. But if you're gonna have a commercial about, like that, and hey, we need to get away from being so political and all that. And I go, wait a minute, you probably shouldn't have the guy as your spokesman is the guy who's been clearly in favor and biased for one side of the aisle. And now have him come across with that kind of a script. Just, I don't know. It fell on. It just seemed it ringed hollow for me.
It was completely hollow. And I don't know who the alternative could have been. I don't know who's in the middle of the road that kind of everybody likes. I don't know. I mean, who knows who it could have been? But
I'm afraid to mention somebody for the chance that either it'll put a target on him, or maybe he's more like a closet, liberal or something, or closet conservative. So I would hate to out somebody politically by accident. So
okay, and this guy did support Biden. He did publicly do it. But you put The Rock in that commercial, I don't take near it as bad, because The Rock, he did endorse Biden publicly, but he's never been this extreme political guy, right? He's pretty much been he's always been everybody loves The Rock. He never takes a really harsh stand. Yeah. Yes, he endorsed Biden, but it wasn't like he's a known activist type guy.
Yeah.
So The Rock would have been a great choice.
Yeah.
He's middle of the road enough that I could, okay, cool, I get it, fine. But no, you picked activists You can't pick an activist that's known for one side to talk about unity. And you can't do it either way. You can't have James Wood do it either.
Yeah, you couldn't have had, right. I think that's fair.
That drove me crazy. I was watching that. I kind of missed the commercial, but I saw people talking about it. I went and found it. And I'm like, you people that love this commercial have got to be kidding me. Y'all have got to be kidding me. You must not pay attention to anything.
Well, if the message would have had a different messenger, and that's your point. I think it could have had a better chance.
Oh, I'm all for unity.
So we're all for unity, but
make sure you bring a guy that's unifying to deliver the message. You need a unifier to bring the message. Bruce Springsteen's not a unifier.
Yeah, you want to avoid looking like, hey, unify. That means you give up your ideas. All of us come over here, and you just join us on our side of the aisle. I said, well, wait a minute. There's points to be made on both sides now. Yeah. Doggone it. And
it wasn't an unconditional surrender.
Yeah,
there wasn't an unconditional surrender where one side gave it the other. No, it was a vote, and one party won the presidency.
Right.
So there was no like sabers exchanged or something.
Well, and
somebody handed it a saber or something.
And as someone who considers himself an independent,
you didn't have like the general of the Japan signing an armistice on a boat, a U.S. boat. It wasn't like that.
Yeah. Someone I was just going to say, someone who considers himself an independent, it can be frustrating when you're like, look, there's a good point that, hey, Biden made a good point on that. We need to think about that. Oh, Trump made a good point over here. You can't. It's like, no. One's the devil, one's an angel. And if you don't follow that script, we don't want to have a conversation. So I'm sad that's where we are.
It ain't gonna change. So it's not gonna change. I'm just as pessimistic about that as I am Brady. To bring this full circle, I'm pessimistic on both fronts.
And doggone it, see, that's what we get so upset about with the NFL. We're talking quasi politics here, and we're supposed to be talking about a game, for heaven's sakes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Roger Goodell. Thank you for politicizing the league.
Goodell,
doggone it.
ESPN, all that they've all rented off. Well, speaking of forms of being totally ruined, I do.